Number 7, Shando Sara. And head coach, Shaq De Los Santos.
Back here inside the arena in San Juan, there is a starting 6 of the defending champions on the right of your screens, while Adamson, of course, on the left. Both these teams have had their ups and downs coming into today's game. Of course, Adamson with a rough start in the first round of eliminations, while UST up until the second round of eliminations, losing to bottom feeding UP. That was just a few weekends ago.
That's right.
It's going to be crucial for UST here if they are to maintain their number 2 standing and maybe a chance, a crack at keeping that number or twice to beat advantage to take care of business here. While for Adamson, of course, as you saw in the team standings, they are at 8-4, just half a game behind UST. So a golden chance to make it to the number 2 seed. And
That's right, Eric. Actually, right now, what's making this season interesting is the fact that, yes, we already know the top 4 teams will make it to the semifinals. But in terms of positioning, that's still the one that has yet to be determined. And that's why, for all of the remaining games of UST, Ateneo, and Adamson, it is very important that they do win these games.
you said it, and Ateneo Adamson with a golden opportunity to steal the number 2 seed going into the Final Four. It's for UST to lose and for Adamson and Ateneo to take.
That's right. But, you know, we are only in the first point of the game. But look at the intensity of both these teams. I know that Adamson, what they have in mind is the fact that the last time they met against UE, it was 5 sets. So they know that they can beat UST. But UST, on the other hand, we know that their goal is to finish on a high note all their remaining games.
Of course, UST, a team loaded with talent. Everybody knows that. They've got a huge support from their alumni, the crowd, the fans. I mean, fans turn up every time they have a game. While for Adamson, of course, it's a team built on hard work, built on, you know, good discipline on the floor, defensive patterns, and they've really stuck to that, and it's brought them this far already.
Aiza Maizo
In the offense of UST. But they are trailing by 1, 3-2 here in set number 1.
Question in the past games that they've had was consistency. For Adamson, like what you mentioned, they are a team known for their good defense, but you know, in some of the games, it seems like the other teams have challenged this skill of theirs. Meanwhile, for UST, although they are one of the best and the strongest teams that we have here in the UAAP, there were some upsets, like what you mentioned, yung talo nila sa UP, no? So, in a way, there still are some consistencies that we see from the Lady Tigers.
But at this point, and as you see that error on the defensive end for UST, there are chinks in the armor that UST is displaying at a very crucial stage in the season. At this point, you know, if you're a fan and if you're a critic as well, you'd hope, you'd expect UST to be much tighter and have lesser errors than what they're showing coming into today's game.
That's right. But, you know, for a lot of the fans of UST, I know that they're very confident in terms of how these girls would play. Because if you look back at season 72, that was last year, UST was not off to such a strong start. They've had quite a few losses, but towards the end of the season, they came back, they beat LaSalle in all of the games that they had against them, and you know, that just shows that this team can make it, well, kahit na nasa baba sila, or even if they lose, they can make the most out of every situation. And it's really the attitude that you would admire from these girls.
But is it a good strategy to kind of like, you know, hover in the middle of the pack during the entire season and then just try and turn it on in the finals or in the
that a team would like to be in, or that even for the coaching staff, that's not the ideal situation. What you want is really to dominate all throughout and have a consistent game. But I guess it's a test of character of the team, because even if they did falter somehow in the middle of the game, kaya nilang bumawi towards the end.
While for Adamson, of course, you know, they're built on hard work, these girls. They are not the most physically gifted, but they are skilled, they are talented, and they're making the most out of it. A lot of people expecting at the start of the season that Lady Falcons might fall and fade away as, you know, we get deeper and deeper into the season. But the longer we get into the 73rd season, the better these girls are playing.
Yes, that's right. And despite the absence of their first setter, Des Patelano, who's now replaced by Makatuno, it seems like the girls didn't really feel much of her absence, and they're still able to challenge all the opponents that they're facing.
In the last game, we started that out. We were wondering, Ian and I were wondering why Makatuno has been starting after it was all Patilano in the first round of eliminations. According to Mami Dulce, you know, she wanted a change. She wanted something to spark the offense, and it seemed like Makatuno did the trick. And that's why she's sticking with Makatuno as the starting setter for Adamson. There's a lapse in defensive, positioning for Adamson there. Two players trying to go for the ball, but none of them really went for it.
And there you can see it's actually lack of communication, very important when you're inside the court, especially in games that go as fast as this one, which has been very exciting even in the first 7 points.
Momentary lead for UST, and we're tied at 7-all after that easy soft hit by Benting down the middle of the defense of the Tigresses. UST on the attack. Zapanta with a block on Hirotsuchi. Free ball, UST. Caballejo.
Look at the intensity of the Lady Tigers.
And they are up by 1, 8-7 here in set number 1. You mentioned this at the top of the coverage. The 5-set matchup between UST and Adamson. The first time they met, that was December 8th of last year.
Well, that's right. Like what we mentioned earlier, it was actually a long and grueling match for both UST and Adamson. But then eventually you have their UST getting that win in that game. As you look at the score in that very long 5-set match where UST still dominated. And looking at the statistics in that game, you'll see that in terms of attacks, and look at those block points, 22 block points for USC, which just goes to show how dominant this team is. And of course, that is something that you won't question, because if you look at the height of this team, they're all very tall.
Obviously, very physically gifted are the Tigresses. And there's Ortiz, who has been very active offensively for UST. Back 2 years ago and even last year, Ortiz was more of a defensive-minded player than anything else. But this year, Jacques de los Santos has really made it a point to involve her offensively and very often.
And of course, along with that is, you know, the years of experience that she's had. Parang mas nasasanay na, and you feel that things just come more naturally to her.
Pineda has been a vital factor for Adamson as well offensively. Yes, last year, 2 years ago, you'd only think Pao Soriano, Angela Benting on the offensive end. But this year, you have Pineda, you have Kinlog also getting involved in the offense for the Lady Falcons.
And that's just what they need, because you can't just depend on 2 players to do it for you. Now there's more balance, and in terms of predictability, hindi na ganun ka-predictable ang plays ng Adamson.
That's true. That is why they are neck and neck right now with the defending champions. 10-9 off that point coming from a Banatikla hit from the left side. Dimakulangan has been the long-time setter of the Tigresses. Here's Pineda on the other side. Ortiz, of course, or make that Aiza Maizo with a hit. Caught the tape of the net. That's too strong for Zapanta. Another new gun, so to speak, for Adamson. She has emerged this season as a reliable offensive player for the Lady Falcons.
That's right. But I guess because of